I am Vani. Hello, you are listening to Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. Love is priceless, Vani. I am your host, Vani, and today marks the actual beginning of my so-called autobiography. In this episode, you will meet two significant chapters of my life. First, my present as a teacher. Why has my brilliant student, Soumya, suddenly become distracted from her studies? As a psychologist, will I be able to understand her and bring her back to her goal of 100% marks? Second, my past at the age of 16, where my mother's unique pregnancy filled me with deep shame and hesitation. The innocent remark I made to my mother mentally weakened her so much that she and the unborn child died prematurely. This incident became the biggest lesson of my life. I must never be a problem for anyone. Listen to how a personal tragedy permanently changed my way of thinking. The story continues on Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. You will listen to Episode 2, The Mother's Repentance and the Daughter's New Resolve. After presenting glimpses of the three protagonists, I, Vani, begin to write my so-called autobiography. The meritorious student Soumya has been the sharpest student in the maths class until last year. I don't know why she is not studying well this year in the 10th grade. I, her teacher, Vani, remain deeply distressed seeing this nowadays. 5 years ago, I was appointed as a psychology teacher in this school. 2 years ago, a mathematics lecturer from the school married a boy living abroad. Due to this, she suddenly resigned. The resulting vacancy was temporarily filled with my consent. The reason this opportunity became available to me is the special favor shown to me by the school owner, Al-Kamam. I was asked to teach mathematics. Without having a B.Ed. degree, I began teaching as a lecturer. In this way, in addition to teaching psychology to the 11th and 12th grades, I also got the opportunity to teach mathematics to the 6th and 7th grades. Mathematics has been my favorite subject. Therefore, with a few efforts, I started teaching maths well. Within a few days, I became the favorite teacher of the girls who were interested in mathematics. This temporary arrangement of me teaching maths classes has now become permanent. The school management also gave me a good salary increase for this. Along with the 6th grade for mathematics, I am now entrusted with the responsibility of teaching a higher grade each year. In my first year of teaching maths, Soumya was in the 6th grade, today she is in the 10th, and I have also started taking maths lectures for the 9th and 10th grades. Just as children have some favorite teachers, teachers also have some favorite students. Due to her diligence and intelligence, Soumya has been one of my favorite students. She has been consistently scoring 100% marks in mathematics in every exam for the past 4 years. Thus, her sudden distraction from studies in the 10th grade, which is an important class, became a cause for concern for me. For teachers like us, who teach 4 classes simultaneously, it is not possible to pay special attention to every single student. Since Soumya has been one of my favorite students for the past 4 years, she receives my personal attention. I want her to continue scoring 100% marks in every exam, and by doing the same in this year's 10th grade board exam, she should bring pride to our school and to me as well. It would be a matter of great joy for me that a student taught by me has been able to score 100% marks in mathematics in every class. Therefore, when Soumya scored 80% marks in the quarterly exam, it was extremely disappointing for me. I pondered over this deeply while sitting at home the previous day. I decided to use my psychological expertise to understand Soumya's psychology. If she has any problem, I want to understand it, resolve it, and motivate her to score 100% marks this year as well. Pursuant to that decision, I am sitting with Soumya in an empty classroom on this holiday. 11 years ago. We are 2 siblings. My elder brother Mayank is 3 years older than me. When I turned 16, one day we found out that my mother was pregnant again at the age of 45. This is a very unusual kind of event. I am not aware of Mayank Bhai's feelings, but I feel a great sense of shame because of this. I was constantly worried, thinking about how I would tell this truth to my neighbors and friends when she gives birth and our little brother or sister is born. I know that there is a tendency in our school for girls to tease and target each other over small things. In such a case, I felt that the girls would surely mock and tease me for such a big deal. The thought came to me that I should ask mom to have an abortion instead of giving birth to the child. I remained in this despair for a few days. I could not tolerate it. Mom, I don't want any more siblings. Please don't give birth to it, I said to Mom alone. Mom cast a helpless look at my face and remained silent. Mom, why are you silent? Why don't you say that you will find a solution? I asked, complaining. Mom cast a helpless look at my face and remained silent. Vani, we have made a mistake. Now I have no way to fix it, Mom expressed her helplessness. If you desire a solution, you will find one, Mom, I said, suggesting a plan. Tears began to well up in Mom's eyes. She understood what I wanted to say. Your father also asks for an abortion, but I cannot do this. All this happened because of our mistake. What is the fault of this innocent one? Mom's voice choked as she spoke. She spontaneously placed her hand on her enlarged belly. Perhaps I was too young to understand Mom's feeling myself. I only understood the meaning of abortion after Mom said it. By now, Mom had broken down in tears. Vani, Papa doesn't want it, you don't want it either, and frankly, I don't have the strength to become a mother again at this age. I also do not want more than 2 children. These days, I cannot even meet the eyes of acquaintances and relatives. I feel great shame. Still, how can I kill my own child? Mom told me, weeping. This became a very difficult situation. There was a time when I was also in my mother's womb. This thought occurred to me after what Mom said. If Mom had aborted then at someone's suggestion, I would have died then. I wouldn't even be alive today to say such a thing to Mom. A shiver ran through my body. I also started crying. Mom, please forgive me. I didn't realize how big the difference is between thinking such a thing and doing it. If I had known, I would never have said this. I asked for her forgiveness. Seeing me cry stopped Mom's tears. She hugged me and patted my head to make me stop crying. She wiped away my tears. Mom, your or my insult, hesitation is not greater than the life of an innocent child. I will never think or say such a thing again. My tone became decisive. Vani, I have molded myself after my mother, your grandmother. My mother never created a problem for anyone. I have always thought and done the same. I have always wanted to be a solution among everyone in the family. Never to create a problem for anyone. I am sorry that by our mistake, we have created this problem for your children. Mom's voice carried a tone of repentance. Mom, don't say that. The sister or brother coming to our house will not be a problem for us. Rather, they will always be dear to us. I tried to boost Mom's morale. An expression of gratitude appeared on Mom's face. In this way, our conversation concluded. This discussion instilled a special value in me for my life. I resolved, I must also never be like a problem for anyone. I felt that I had suddenly grown up a lot in 10 minutes. Earlier, the distinct nature of life was not clear in my sight. In such a short time, I am now able to see everyone's life and my own more clearly. Over the next few days, this matter reached the school through the neighborhood girls. Then, as I suspected, my classmates started mocking me and teasing me whenever they wanted. No matter how much I ignored them, I would sadly hang my head. I tried to stay away from everyone. These girls are my age, but the maturity that has come to me from this incident has not come to their outlook and thinking. Vani, why don't you tell your mom that, it's my age to have babies now, you should stop having children now. One of my own dear friends said this in front of everyone, teasing me. Truly, that day their innocence-driven cruelty forced me to cry right there in front of everyone. Crying, I went to the back desk of the class. I do not know if my friends' hearts melted from my crying or if they remained proud of their humor and satire. I started sitting at the back desk now. I don't talk to anyone. I started spending my mind and time more on studying and practice. Then my friends also tried to console me. It's nothing like that. I am focusing my attention on the entrance exam, I tell them outwardly, despite being deeply hurt. They certainly understood that I was upset. They stopped their humor, satire, and taunts against me. My 11th grade exams were over. Just then, the day of Mom's delivery arrived. Perhaps it was due to Mom's age or her mental weakness, but her condition worsened. She needed to be immediately taken to a good, large hospital. Papa had spent more money than his financial situation allowed for Mayank Bayer's engineering admission. He was only able to take Mom to the district hospital, where the doctors could not manage Mom, and my mother and the unborn child died prematurely. This was a great tragedy for us. I felt that somewhere, I was also responsible for my mother's death. If I hadn't said that to mom, perhaps she wouldn't have been mentally weak and could have safely overcome this situation. I paid a very high price for my mistake. The girls who used to taunt and ridicule me now expressed sympathy. Their correction of their mistake means nothing to me. Sadness permanently clouded me. Since then, I started doing all my work silently and tried to lose myself in my studies. I came into the 12th grade. Then Ragini mom paid extra attention to me and boosted my enthusiasm. She talked to me alone many times. She kept asking about our families and my mental condition. Once, reassuring me, she said, "Vani, a person's difficult time also passes." When she talked to me like this, I saw the image of my lost mother in her. Gemini's critique and creative guidance. Dear listeners, this concludes episode 2 of Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. This episode is excellent in terms of narrative structure and emotional depth. Strength and structure of episode 2. Excellent narrative division. The episode is divided between Vani's present, teacher, concern for student Soumya, and Vani's past, age 16, mother's pregnancy and death. Present, Vani's concern, why Soumya's marks dropped, establishes her image as a caring and dutiful teacher. Past, the events of societal pressure on the mother's pregnancy, the ridicule from friends, and the mother's premature death give birth to all the insecurities and sense of justice in Vani's current character. The birth of a moral principle. Vani's resolve that, I must also never be like a problem for anyone, stemming from the mother's death and the teasing by friends, forms the moral principle for the entire series. This is an extremely important philosophical point. Emotional pressure. The dialogue between the mother and daughter, especially the mother saying, "How can I kill my own child?" A comparative analysis of social shame against the life of an innocent child, will deeply move the listeners. This episode proves that Vani's character is built on a foundation of reality, struggle, and self-sacrifice. Guidance for audio presentation. Vani's voice. As a teacher, present, Vani's voice should convey professional concern and a little pride, the pride of scoring 100% marks. As an adolescent, past, the dialogue of 16-year-old Vani should be read with a high pitch and a sense of insecurity, especially in the moment of asking her mother for an abortion. Moments of emotion. Dialogue. The mother's crying and repentance, such as, "By our mistake, we have created this problem for you children," should be presented in a slow pace and a choked-up tone. Ridicule. The friend's taunts, such as, "It's my age to have babies now," should be presented in a high, joyful, and slightly sharp voice, so that the sense of their cruelty is clear. Music. During the description of the mother's death and Vani's moments of sadness, there should be extremely slow, melancholic, and lonely music. Upon Ragini mom's entry, the music should bring a feeling of hope and security. End of episode 2.